Hi, Ujjwal. So
Hi.
it's okay. So we're
Hi,
starting
Bob.
with Ujjwal today, and we'll be doing a sort of a little interview with him. And we wouldn't call it an interview; it's more of a diary-style interview, which was inspired by the Tokyo ride, was it? And it was on the architect,
Ryo
which
Nishizawa.
yeah. So it's someone whom Ujjwal looks up to, and like also we got to know about the documentary recently, so we really thought of it like taking it as an inspiration. And this is Ujjwal. This is Akshay,
What's up?
who just crossed his legs in the car. Okay, so starting with thing, my first question comes to you,
Mm-hmm.
or my first thing that I would like to know from you is,
Mm-hmm.
do you still live in the city?
Sadly, no, I don't because I think I moved out. I did my education here, so I did my bachelor's degree from here, from Chandigarh College of Architecture. But once that was done, there was no point staying out in your city. I personally think that I can't struggle in my own city. I'm too chill, or like I have enjoyed in this area so much that probably I can't struggle here the way I would in some other city, especially having all my friends and my parents here. So moving to Delhi was the choice. Even in terms of opportunities, I think Chandigarh has become very stagnant in terms of current architecture. Like there's not much you can do because of the restrictions and everything else. So yeah, Delhi was the right choice. Been there for a while, been doing fine. Yeah.
And since you've moved out, so how often do you visit now?
Uh, I visit. mm, there's no uniformity to like how often do I visit, but like every time my parents like miss me a lot and they're very like on it that you have to be here, I need to come by. So it's like once a month, because I still want to spend some time in Delhi during my weekends and have something to do. So yeah, but I Shatabdi really helps. So I come in on Friday night and then I leave Sunday evening, and it's like 3.5 hours. So it's quite fun.
And since you lived in city for quite long, right?
Mm.
And I'm sure you know a lot about the buildings here. So which building do you know the best?
Uh, I think I would say my college. My uh, knowledge, or I would say my exposure to the city began once I entered the college. I realized how the city was so important for the world and in terms of like in architecture in general. So that's when I started observing things much more carefully. And like those 5 years were like everything. And especially my college is something which was again designed by Corbusier. So that's where I spend the most amount of time. So every corner, every spot is something that has like ingrained in me. I know like I can walk there blindly and still navigate myself throughout. So yeah, my college for sure.
And since you know your college best,
Yeah.
I'm assuming college is the building that knows you the best, or is it someplace else?
Huh. I think my hostel would be a place which knows me the best. So while I was in Chandigarh, even though I had a house, I still decided to live in the hostel because even though just the college hours were crazy, so coming back at like 10 or 11 was not the point. So and I had all my friends in the hostel, so we stayed there, and that was a place with no restrictions. It was designed by not Corbusier, but like so Corbusier and Pierre Genre, his cousin, both of them worked with the Indian team that actually did all the execution in India, and one of those guys definitely did our hostel. I can't remember the name. It's a female architect who actually did that. So she took care of both our hostel and the girls' hostel, which is not even in the campus. It's outside. So the hostel for sure is the place where I think that architecture or those spaces know me the most. They've seen me like during my extremes of work and pleasure as well. So currently, for context, currently we are on one of the major roads, and this is somewhat unique with respect to everything else in the city because there are no like traffic lights here. So this is how the city was originally intended to be, and so yeah, everything else came in with the new things in a lot of cars eventually. So traffic lights were introduced at the roundabouts as well. But like this street, they have still tried to maintain in a way that there's a speed limit of 60 that you can't cross, and it's quite a narrow two-lane street with no street lights, only on the ends. So like now we have almost reached the end of Chandigarh. So like this is where my college is as well. Yeah. So there's a street light there which is at the T point. But yeah, all of these landscaping and trees and even gardens around it you can see is something which is very common to Chandigarh and something that I have actually really enjoyed while I was there. Oh, funny story. So this is a bus stop, and this was one of the first projects that we did in our college. So in our first year, the first design project is designing a bus stop, and this is the site that we actually got, like redesigning a bus stop here. This originally was not there, so there was a barren land here, and me and my friends we came here like one night, like I think 2 nights before the actual submission, and like we stayed here for 5 hours just to see like how many people come by during the night and what is the frequency, how often do the buses come in, and like every problem that we could find, maybe some form of congestion here, so we placed the bus stop much further in. So like this was one of the first projects that we did in our college, and it was quite fun just having a site so close to us and being able to see how people actually interact with such spaces and such functions in general.
Okay, so since me as an outsider,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are lots of part of the city that I don't know that you know of.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any part of the city which never makes it to the photographs, which never makes it to the outsider's eye, or someone who's not from here?
Yes, for sure. And I think no one can actually even capture it. And it is like the essence of these roads. Like, only people who have been to Chandigarh can understand the feeling of having such lush greens around you, especially in a country like India, and something which is so perfectly planned that you get enough space on the street and also off the street. So there's like equal importance given to both people who are on maybe the bicycle or even people who are just walking, and also to the people with automobiles and cars for that sort. So, and I think that is something that everyone misses the most in Chandigarh as well. Just the essence of driving here or walking around in the city while you're maybe traveling from one spot to the other. That is something I don't think any picture can capture, and hence it's just a feeling that comes to you when you're in the city. So this is like my college has almost, like the border is long gone, and now this is PGI. So it's again funny that this is where I was born. PGI is like a very big government hospital, and this is the hospital where I was born in. And funnily enough, it shares a wall with my architecture college. And like I never intended to do architecture ever. Like as soon as I got in, like as soon as I filled the form, I realized maybe this is something that I can try. And just funnily enough, both of them having a common wall is something which is very ironic and almost too crazy for me to even like understand that like this is how small the world is maybe. So this is a very important medical facility for North India in general. They have a lot of buildings, some new, some old, and like in my opinion, really good architecture comes out of this, which is again some place where people don't usually visit to check out the architecture, or a tourist would probably not visit like a facility like this. But like the idea of it functioning so well for so long is a clear justification of that they did something right here. So for yeah.
Going back to your Chandigarh PGI
Mm-hmm.
thing, do you think everyone born in or around Chandigarh, the satellite city, Panchkula or Mohali, are somehow related to architecture in some sense or in many senses?
For sure. I, I think everyone born anywhere is very strongly associated to the planning or in general design around them. Me being in Chandigarh is something I always felt like this is different from any other city that I've ever been to. But when I got into architecture, I realized why or how very clearly.
Do you keep any part of this city like which you really don't want anyone to see?
No, I don't think so. With everything, I feel I'm the one who likes to put people on things, whether it is sports or food or art or anything. So I really enjoy just people going to places and having their first experiences as I did. Yeah, no, but what do you think? Like, what is sky for you? I think sky is the background. It's a background for architecture in general. Hmm. What is landscape? Huh. Landscape is I think landscape is natural architecture. So architecture intended or designed by the nature, and the best way to actually produce even man-made architecture into it is by respecting the general landscape and actually placing something that fits the landscape, fits the natural architecture, I would say. So yeah, it's the nature design architecture.
And as such, as a person, like what an architect, what would you want in an landscape?
I think I personally, or with every good designer, I would say they would usually look for challenge. Challenge is something that gives you a possibility to do something more than just usual. So, like a challenging landscape, for example, maybe if it is a hilly terrain or some form of trees that you want to conserve, that is something that gives you possibility of doing something which is very unique and very specific to that particular site. So, challenge, I would say, would be something which like any good designer would look forward to.
So, like, uh, if there is one, like, would you design that with an emotion or something?
Yeah, I think just respecting the existing landscape is something that which great architects have always done, and just like not erasing everything that was already there and building like putting a structure there, but just respecting everything and then finding out spaces in between the natural landscape to maybe build something of your own is quite special and something that actually stays. I think everything else disappears with time, or it like everything which has been built by erasing what was there in the past is like deleting history out of it. But if you're designing while keeping everything retained, it is like you're keeping the past with the present, and even the future can design accordingly.
So, like, respectful, like, being respectful towards
Yes,
something.
for
I
sure.
agree that.
Huh.
Okay. And,
I
like,
think it's the case with any type of design. For me, it's just all part of one spectrum in general. Where even when you're doing fashion, you need something you need to respect your end consumer and their body,
yeah.
and you need to design according to that, or you need to know your people or who's going to actually wear it. Even with product design, you need to know who's the end client is and how they're going to use it, and also what surroundings will that specific product be kept in. For
Yeah.
fashion, it's like fabrics and cuts. For product, it's like shape, and it should match the general aesthetic of everything around it. Same with architecture.
Do you follow fashion?
Yes. Like, I think yeah, not specifically just fashion. There was a point when I was just into fashion, but I think I like to be updated with all sorts of design, art, fashion worlds of things. And yeah, but major proportion would be fashion and architecture and products and collaborations, brands, everything. So yeah, I think I do.
Do you look up to someone for fashion?
Fashion folks, yes, and a lot of them do show up in my dreams, which is funny. Like Jonathan Anderson has come in my dreams like thrice for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I look up to a lot of them. I think my journey or my obsession with architecture design started from Virgil Abloh. Like he was one of the first ones for me, and that's how I took architecture as well. And that's when I realized even Tom Ford was an architect apparently, and some other. So yeah, but currently I think I really like Jonathan Anderson for sure. I love his work. I like how it's very absurd and very intriguing. I love Glenn Martin's. Love him. And who else in the current? I don't know. Then it's just the legend. And I really enjoy just studying about it, like historic stories about fashion, of like fashion collaborations and in general people working together. So that takes me out like multiple tabs of just going in deep and checking out things. But it's quite fun. Just and even collaborations between fashion and architecture is very intriguing. Of how like get getting to know about more about how Mucha Prada and Rem Koolhaas came in collaboration and first started out the Prada and OMA collaboration. So it's interesting to see all the historic design athletes at this point just coming in together because they were in the same city or they had the same style and working together somehow.
Talking about collaborations,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is a piece worth collaborating on?
Anything and everything. I don't think design or art, even art, can exist alone. You always need someone to have, like, there's always collaboration. I can't imagine a world where there's design without collaboration. Even if it's a single designer working on something, then his inspirations might be his collaborations. Or if not anything, if it's very client focused, then it's the client or the end user who he's collaborating with to make up something which is usable for him. So collaboration is interaction, and design without interaction is nothing. So I think it's everything, and you can collaborate, and you do collaborate on everything, one way or the other, living or dead, object or people, anything, place, anything.
What do you think of a t-shirt?
I think a t-shirt is one of the most basic forms of and easiest forms of clothing that one can wear or even make. And I'm someone who wears t-shirts the most. Uh, and yeah, I don't think there's more to it. T-shirt is one of the perfect descriptions of how I perceive fashion in general as well, which is not too complicated and doing its job. You can wear it day in, day out, and still just be normal with it.
And a weird question, but would you want one of your t-shirts to live as long as you?
I think they all will, and everything does. Anything that you make has a lifespan or extends your lifespan for sure, because even objects last more than people. People die off, objects don't. So anything I or anyone produces at any point, they definitely last longer, at least in terms of physical retention. But yeah, I would love for people to still utilize it, or anything I ever make for people to utilize it even when I'm not around. I think that's one of the, I would say, what every architect or every designer aspires to have, that people still utilizing his or her designs even after they're not around. Yeah,
And would you like your t-shirts to age
for
like the
sure, for
buildings?
sure. Like, personally, again, that brings us back to the description of fashion as well. For me, fashion is something that, not something you buy, but something that you make of your own. So even if you buy something, I don't perceive that as fashion, but how you incorporate it in your own wardrobe and how long it lasts and how you utilize it is something which is more fashion centric to me. So yeah, with these products as well, even everything I wear, like, I buy everything, like, not retail, and everything is thrifted because I really enjoy the piece which is already very much worn in and very much lived through. So even with my pieces, I like, at least we are trying to make it something which doesn't feel very brand new, and again, hope they will last. At least in my wardrobe, they'll last. I've been very selfish and try to make up every t-shirt that I can at least wear on my own. So yeah, I hope they stick around, and they probably will.
And if you design a t-shirt,
Uh
which
huh.
you are
Hmm.
gonna soon,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Do you is if there's a hidden meaning behind it, would you want it to be hidden or would you want to reveal it to everyone?
Huh. I think it's a lot of designers have done this, that you target a special audience which uses or utilizes your product every day, and as it ages, like, it reveals something, and like you see something new. So like that is a special homage to people who actually utilize the product of how it needs to be utilized. So yeah, I would love for, like, even my t-shirt to have something which is unique, but one can only find out when they, like, wear it to death. Maybe it's like some sort of reveal, or maybe some hidden sign that you take off a tag, or like something specific. But yeah, I would love to put in some special details as for the OGs who will actually utilize it how it needs to be utilized. Yeah.
So, bro, like any one word or like a quote you would want this session to end with?
Uh, I would say something that I do try to live by. It's not related to architecture or even design in general. It's whoever has the most fun wins in life or in anything. I think the most important thing if you get into something is to, like, enjoy it as much as you can, and just learn from it and just have fun all around with your people, with family, your friends, anything, any experience in general. So yeah, that is something that I do try to live by, and it works out well. So yeah.